Many businesses struggle. They struggle with their profits, they struggle with cash flow, they are working sometimes crazy hard, crazy hours, and not making enough money. And very often, the single biggest reason for that is price. The pricing strategy is wrong, the pricing is wrong, and very often too cheap. The way that most businesses price is through a mixture of emotion, gut feel, what we feel the price should be, and by copying what the competition are doing. All crazy ways of pricing. It ignores price psychology, price strategy, proven pricing tactics. When we figure out better ways to price, we can very, very quickly transform profits. Price is quite literally the fastest way to change profits. I'm the author of a number of books on pricing, one of which is called exactly this, Price, the Fastest Way to Change Profits. And you can grab a copy of this on Amazon. I'll put the link below the video. But what I want to do in this particular video is just illustrate this with a practical example to show you the power of pricing. So this is a website I came across recently. It's a small business based in the UK, based in London. They run a mobile bike repair business. That's one of those businesses that has a van full of equipment and people can have their bicycles repaired, serviced, and so on. And if you go on the website, they have some interesting things in the way they price. The person running this business does some things great. They offer the client 3 choices, as you can see from the screen. They have a regular service plan, a deluxe, and a super deluxe. But nevertheless, there are so many things that can be done to improve the profits of this business just by working on price. You see, if you look at the prices that are on the screen here, you'll see that the regular is £50, the middle option is £65, and the top one is £150. And straight away, I can see there that there's some big changes we could make, or rather small changes that can have a big difference on the results of the business. And the first thing that I would change is the price of the middle option. The reason for that is very simple. We know from price psychology and what the behavioral economists teach us is that when customers are faced with 3 choices, most people gravitate towards the middle. And I would be fairly confident in this particular case that because of the way that the menu of prices has been structured, the price points, what's in them, I would guess that most people, the vast majority, of customers go for the middle option. And of course, if I ran this business, I would test that and make sure and test how many buy the super deluxe, the deluxe, and the regular. And what I would definitely do is look at the price of the middle option. I think actually, as an aside, all the prices are too cheap. This is a London-based business where cycling is booming at the moment, and some people pay crazy amounts of money to buy bicycles and would therefore happily pay a higher price to have it properly serviced. Now, I don't know, let's look at the numbers. I don't know the numbers for this business, but let's just for a minute just imagine that it turns over 100,000. And that the direct costs, that's the costs of the parts, the chains and so on, are 25,000. So they make a gross profit of 75,000. It's a margin of 75%. And then of course there's fixed costs. There's the van, there's the marketing and so on. And let's imagine that's 50,000, leaving a profit of 25. So the question is, if we were to change the pricing a little bit, what impact would it have on the profit of this business? And I think you'll be staggered by the results of what small changes can do to a business. So let's look at this 3 choices again. So they have the 3 options, £50, £65 and £150. And I would be fairly confident, as I said, that most people go for the middle choice, which would be, I would suggest about 70%. In fact, probably way more than that, but I would guess 70% go for the middle option. And I would guess that of the rest, it will be evenly split between the 2. And so knowing that, we can work out what the revenue would be. If it's 100,000 in total, then 60,000 would come from the middle option. So how about we test something? And what I would look at is changing the middle price from 65 to 97. Because even at 97, it's under that magic £100 mark. Most people gravitate towards the middle option, so most people will continue to choose that option. Not everybody, but most people will still do that. And we can test this and see if it works. So let's imagine that we change the middle price to 97. We leave the regular, we leave the super deluxe. And I would guess that about 60% would still buy the middle choice. Not everybody will. Now it'll be too expensive for some. But the great news is we don't lose customers, because those people for whom that price is now more expensive, they'll just move down and buy the regular service at 50. But also interesting what will happen, because we've closed the gap between the deluxe and the super deluxe. Some people will actually think, well, it's not much more for the super deluxe, I get lots more stuff, and so I will upgrade. So it is very likely that some of the people that stop buying the deluxe will actually choose to spend more money. And so if we do the math on this particular business, you would see that in this case, changing the price in this simple way would change the revenue of the business by 30%. More accurately, 130,066. And that's a big result in itself. However, let's go back and look at the impact on profit. Because when we factor that in, the interesting thing about pricing changes is the cost structure doesn't change for the business. The costs will be exactly the same. And so when we look at this, we can see that profit goes from 25,000 to 55,000. It more than doubles. And that's the power of pricing. Simple changes in pricing can completely change and transform bottom line profits. If you want to find out more about how you can improve your pricing, grab a copy of my book from Amazon, Price, the Fastest Way to Change Profits, and you'll find many more examples, stories, and how we can change our pricing in this book. I will hopefully catch you online on another video sometime in the future. Bye for now.